When a disaster strikes, hopefully you have a plan in place that you can essentially rely on it to remove any thought process. That way you can just focus on the things that you have to do, move forward with a purpose, and get things done. However, how about if that plan fails? How about, let's say, for example, that you have your escape route because you are evading, a group of people that you don't want to encounter. Well, you going through that alleyway and you see now a whole bunch of folks in there with arms, thinking about doing you harm if you pass through it. What is your plan? Essentially, I'm talking about what is your contingency of your plan B, if you want to put it that way. If you don't have one, I encourage you to start thinking about plan B. Plan B is nothing more than if that first plan that you have in place fails, well, you can essentially be like, all right, this failed, let's go this other route. Main Street is not good, let's go through Second Street. You see what I'm saying? I'm putting things very simple, to say the least. A lot of folks will say, Billy, I have a backup plan if my main weapon doesn't work, my AR-15 doesn't work. I switch over to my Glock. A lot of folks will say, that's my plan B. Rock on. That is a good way to do it. That is your plan B. If your main weapon doesn't work, then you switch to your secondary weapon. That essentially is your contingency. However, let's dive a little bit more into things that we may not actually think. Because let's face it, those things that we don't think are no fun things. The gear, the guns, those things are fun. Those things are things that at least we men levitate more towards them. But let's think, for example, as I mentioned before, Main Street is not available anymore. Well, what are we gonna do? Well, Second Street might be a viable option. Second Street may be a little full of potholes. Well, that car that you have that is really low to the ground, that is really fast, that you thought about it because plan A was haul ass through Main Street, and Main Street is well kept. Well, you no longer can use it. So now you need to go through the other place that is full of potholes, but there's no threat. But your car, well, cannot essentially go through it. What is your plan? You see, do you have a secondary vehicle? In case that main vehicle that you have, that fast vehicle, cannot go through. You see what I'm saying? Those are the things that you really have to start thinking because they do require preparation. And a lot of times, and this is something that I get chewed out by folks all the time. Billy, income is limited here and there. Well, I am giving you ideas and scenarios that can actually happen and be detrimental to you. So you need to keep those things in mind. Think, for example, let's say that you are in your home in winter. Winter, fires happen more often than none. Why? Because, well, a chimney is dirty. It has creosote in it. Poof. Chimney fire. Your wood stove, well, let's say that it was not well kept and it was dirty. Well, your house is now full of smoke and a potential fire can happen. Poof, now your house is gone. Let's say that, well, you cannot keep your entire house, which is your main dwelling, warm throughout the entire winter because you just don't have enough resources, aka wood, aka heating oil, propane, and whatnot. What are you gonna do? Now, I hear a lot of folks say, well, I'm just gonna close a section of my house and just keep one section of the house warm. That is a viable option. That will be your plan B. You see what I'm saying? In our case, think about it from the way that we live. If a fire happens in your house, you're done. That house is screwed. So we prepare our prepper shed where we do these videos and whatnot. This is our second location in our property. Second location with its own individual power system. There's a power source right there. If I have to go completely off the grid, and I can charge that with solar panels. I can charge that with a generator, small generator. I have a generator literally sitting right next to the prepping shed, just in case. And I have another one sitting in right next to my house, just in case. I have a wood stove that I install in this prepper shed, just in case. You see what I'm saying? And this has its own Toyo stove, which is a heater, just in case. Again, water, food, self-defense, and all of those things. Now, I don't talk about much about toilets in here because I have a latrine that is separated from our main house and our secondary location within our property. That is separated. That latrine is way up there. So yeah, it takes a little bit to get through there, but it is there. You see what I'm saying? So contingency. Plans over plans, because you do not know what can happen. You do not know. Let's say that you have a homestead. Let's say that you you harvest usually your food for the entire year, your vegetables, your potatoes. If you have enough land, you may have rice, and other things, vegetables. But you had a really bad harvest this year. What are your plans? Do you have enough stored away from previous year to carry you through the next season? And here's the other thing that I would like you to think. If the next season is also a bad season, aka a bad harvest, now what? That is one of the main problems that a lot of farmers have faced over the years. And that is, I will say that is a main cause for a lot of farmers to lose their farms, because they go and they take a loan and put their farm as a collateral so they can, in hopes, they can get a better harvest and then recoup from those previous years. But I'm here to tell you that I have yet to see anybody recover from 2 consecutive bad harvests. Don't believe me? Do your own research. Now, contingencies. Again, I'm just trying to spitball here so you guys can get ideas. Let's say that, one common thing is the phones. A lot of folks all the time is like, if my phone fails, I grab my walkie-talkie. Okay. How about if your walkie-talkie runs out of juice? Now what? You see what I'm saying? Do you have a contingency to run your generator? Do you have a dual or triple fuel generator? That's one of the things that I want to encourage everybody. If you're going to get something, try for that something to, let's say a generator, to that generator to have the ability of run in multiple fuels. That only is going to be beneficial for you. Is it going to cost more? Yes, it will cost more. Would you be more benefited by it? I think so. I really think so. I can give you a very simple example. The generator that I have literally right next to the prepper shed does not run on gasoline. I have yet to put a single drop of gasoline on that generator. I run that generator with propane. Why? Well, it's just easier for me. But if I have to run it on gasoline, I can just pour it in there and keep on going. The one that I have near the house runs on gasoline. Why? Because I use it more often. That one I use more often. So you see what I'm saying? You need to have this. It's a game of resources. And it's a game of chess in real life that you really have to think 20 steps ahead. That's a conversation that I was having with Mrs. D the other day. And she's like, Billy, it is exhausting thinking that way all the time. And it is. It is really exhausting to be thinking what could happen and how can I mitigate that potential problem. But at the same time, if you don't, well, let's just say that the lion is going to eat you. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. Federal government is not here to come and help you when you need it. The proof is in the pudding. Look what's happening with these hurricanes. They don't come. I mean, they're not gonna come and help you. You, the American people, are stepping up and going and help your fellow Americans. The federal government, nah. What for? They don't want you to. They don't want you to be helped. They don't want to help you. They just don't care about you. They do care about your tax money, though. That they do care, because, well, it's for their own interests. So those are the things. The last thing that I want to mention is try to put pen on paper your plan B. You know, you don't have to get all elaborate and write a book or anything like that. You know, I grabbed my loading data for my 30 caliber as an example that you can put everything in something as minuscule as this, and you can literally put it like, again, this is just to give you an example, plan B, and then write things in there. If you can laminate them, that will be best. And if you can, distribute one to your family members and just read them together and, discuss. Hey, well, you're saying that if Main Street is not okay, then we have to hit 2nd Avenue, but our main car will not be okay. Does that mean that we have to return home and switch cars to the old truck and throw everything in the old truck? Is that what you mean? Well, that's a discussion. That's a very good discussion. Make that determination. Is that the case? Or will your second vehicle will have everything already in it? You see what I'm saying? By you discussing that plan B with your family or with your group, you can now think about other things, because the way that I think is definitely not the way that you think. And by you combining everybody ideas together, I guarantee you that plan B may actually be even better than plan A, because if plan A fails, the plan B will be your lifeline. With that being said, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like I was, rock on, prep on, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, everybody.